Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Chelsea Football Club are in negotiations via a group of intermediaries at CAA base to broker a deal to bring Hakimi from Inter Milan to Chelsea this summer. We know that a deal for £36 million between Real Madrid and Inter Milan was agreed in the summer, along with a base salary of €5 million per year for Hakimi. His performances have been very good in Serie A. The Inter Milan fans are happy with him. And of course, Conte, the manager, is as well. Where the problems were arising is that currently Inter Milan are behind. They have missed their first installment payment of just over €11 million into Real Madrid. They do not believe, or they're starting to have concerns at the very least, that they may not be able to afford this deal. As we all know, and we've explained this many, many times upon the Football Terrace, transfers are not done. They're very rarely done where you pay the cash up front. The vast majority, the payments for a player are paid in installments over the lifetime of the first contract they sign with the purchasing club. The vendors may show that money as being received up front, but they don't physically receive that cash straight away in the majority of cases. The structuring around these payments can differ. Often it can start off a larger amount and it tapers down until the entirety of the balance is paid back. However, so far, Inter Milan are behind. With the global pandemic still with no signs of ending, we have no idea when fans are returning. Teams in Serie A are really struggling financially, and there could be an opportunity here for Chelsea to strike an amazing deal to bring Hakimi to Stamford Bridge. The deal would see Chelsea essentially take over the payments. Chelsea would essentially turn around and start paying money directly through to Real Madrid, ridding the debt of Inter Milan, but of course having the players' transfer card and player card transferred across to themselves. This could mark an amazing deal for one of the most hottest talents in world football finding his way to Stamford Bridge. The only question that I would kind of ask is, what would this mean for Reece James? I would love to hear from Chelsea fans on this. I want your views and opinions. I want your views and I want your opinions on that. Conversations are currently going on between Footfill and Echo Sports, which are the representation of Hakimi. They are keen for a move to the Premier League, although the player is settled in Italy. But they understand the situation. If Inter Milan are not in the position to be able to financially afford to make their payments, it may be best for all parties involved for another transfer to take place. Hakimi, just 22 years of age, has high market value as well. He's currently valued at around 45 to 50 million pounds in the market. This could represent an opportunity for Chelsea picking him up for as little as 35 to 36 million pounds, which is the money owed to Real Madrid. Madrid themselves would welcome this. Currently, they've shown absolutely no sign of trying to bring the player back and make him part of their team and setup. As I say, Chelsea Football Club have included an intermediary to help negotiate and broker a deal in CAA base, one of the leading sports agencies and brokers in the UK. They represent a number of players like Kyle Walker, amongst others. Do me a big favor and smash that like button. It's really important to the Football Terrace that you get this done. But Chelsea, you've done this a number of times in recent years, Christian Pulisic being one. Last year, Timo Werner. Could this be another sign of amazing business being done by Chelsea? Would you welcome this amazing fullback? That's essentially what Hakimi is. He is a fullback. He's a goal-scoring fullback. He's a creative fullback. I think this season alone, it's 6 goals, 4 assists in 20 games. He was amazing for Borussia Dortmund last year. But as we say, he plays on that. I mean, some would argue right midfield. Some would say he's a fullback. If Thomas Tuchel persists with his 3 at the back and uses wing backs, he could be a major option there. But what does this mean for Reece James? We want your views. We want your opinions. Smash the like and share button. We're going to open up the lines for you to call in a few moments on our Discord server. We're going to share the link on the Discord server, so we want to hear from you. I'm going to go to your live comments first of all, though, because that is really important to us. If you want to sign up to the Discord server, by the way, as I said, that link is in the description below. A lot of people here saying right wing back. No, I look at him more as a right wing back, right back. It depends on what website you read, but he's marauding, he's attacking. He's probably the closest player in the world to Trent Alexander-Arnold's level on the right-hand side. But let's see some of these comments, what you're all saying here. Hakimi to Arsenal. Please, Arsenal, sell Bellerin and Maitland-Niles to get him. Well, Arsenal have also been looking at the play. You're absolutely right. But based on the conversation I had today with an ex-colleague of mine, it's Chelsea that have made the first real move in relation to trying to broker this deal. We all know you'd want him. I don't think there's a Chelsea fan on the planet that doesn't recognize the qualities of Hakimi. Arsenal fans the same. But what would this mean for Reece James? That's the big question that I want to ask of everybody. That's what I want to know. Reece James to Arsenal. I don't think that's not happening. That's not happening there, not at all. Do they even need any more signings? It's never stopped Chelsea before, has it? That would be my response to that. It has never stopped Chelsea before. Reece James has got the rest of this season now to maybe step up and show everybody what he is made of. But Hakimi to Chelsea is a distinct possibility. Chelsea have brought in brokers to try and work out a deal. It would be a fairly complicated financial deal that would essentially see Chelsea pick up Inter Milan's debt with Real Madrid. There wouldn't be a great differential in the price of the player. This, of course, could all fall apart if Inter Milan find some money from somewhere else. But, of course, they've invested heavily in their squad in recent years. The salary of Alexis Sanchez, the signing of Lukaku, to name a few, what they paid Christian Eriksen, and there's been very little return on their investment there so far. So they are like a lot of clubs in Europe, they're in a financially precarious position. So it could happen. Comment here for one of our members says Arsenal should give Bellerin for free to Inter and pay Madrid for Hakimi. Again, that could be worked. That could be worked. I think the most important thing for Inter is to potentially get the player off their books if they can't afford to make the payments. That will be a very, very important element for them. Just taking a little sip of my drink there. By the way, we are sponsored by Manscaped, as you all know. Promo code, you can see it just above my head there, TFT. Get 20% discount off of all your male grooming products. Go check that out after this stream has ended. Are Man United involved in the race? Not to my knowledge on this one at all. And as I say, I had a brief, it would have been a coffee chat if we were allowed out and about, but I was catching up with some old colleagues as I still have a hand in the financial world. We were talking about some bits and pieces, and it's something that came up that Chelsea are looking at doing. The financial situation, research it at Inter Milan is very true. It's fairly public that they've missed and failed on this first payment. Daniel here says Chelsea will beat Spurs on Thursday. We will be previewing that tomorrow evening, so make sure you're tuning in to the Football Terrace, and we'll be doing that. Let's do some more of these comments here. Ite says Real Madrid should just take him back. I don't know why they let him go. Ite, I agree with you. Now, that's a rarity. Ite and I agreeing on something. And I agree. I can't for the life of me understand why this. I honestly think when I said he's the closest thing to Trent, he's pretty much as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold. 110%. He is as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's no doubt about this at all in my mind. Terry, how good is Hakimi? Just answered that question, I think. I just answered it. And I don't think I'm being hyperbolic in that as well. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic. His deal at Real Madrid, Inter Milan is very, very simple as well. Monthly wages of 400,000, 5 million base salary over the course of the year. And that is a 5-year contract as well. Imagine picking him up for like 30, just 35 mil. You know, you've got to make, and that's going to be spread over that 5-year period. First payment being around about, it's basically going to cost in upfront payments for Chelsea about £11.5 million. Absolutely phenomenal if they can do it. Super chat here says Hakimi isn't what Arsenal need at right back. He can't defend. I feel Hakimi would be a better winger. Arsenal don't play with wing backs anymore. Nathaniel Lawrence says Hakimi cannot defend. Who agrees or disagrees with this one? I would love to know. Get your comments in now. Get your member chats and super chats will dominate now. We always wait until we get the first super chat before putting up sort of standardized comments. We like to pay homage and respect our super chatters massively because you're very, very important to us. You are. We're going to try and get some of the panel on in a moment as well. I haven't shared the link with them. A few of them have messaged me going, "Where's the link, bruv?" I haven't put the link out yet. So I'm just connecting my WhatsApp to my computer so I can share the link to call in. We will put it on the Discord server very, very soon as well. That's been shared. They should be here in a bit. What's this say here? Okay. I have no idea what that's about. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I got off subjects. I focus on something else. I think Hakimi can defend, to be fair. I don't think it's true at all. World class, he's in that bracket. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. He is in that bracket. He absolutely is in that bracket, Hakimi. And he's 22, so the ceiling and the potential for him to become bigger, better, and more potent is palpable. Absolutely palpable. And what a signing this could be for Chelsea. But what I'm not seeing from very many Chelsea fans right now is what you think this could mean for Reece James. Would you welcome this if it means Reece James playing less game time? Or do you think Reece James is better? I want your views. I want your opinions on this. I want you to be honest about it. Is Reece James better than Hakimi? Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your feelings right about now. Man like David is here with us. David, welcome back to the Football Terrace, mate. Hakimi Chelsea. This is legitimate rumor from genuine sources, CAA base, and Footfield are involved in this. Would you welcome it at Chelsea?
100%. Terry, you know my links to Dortmund. I've watched this guy before, and as a wing back, he is so good. He's so good. Just that, like the overlapping runs he makes, his ability to create from out wide is so good. It is Trent levels. It is. And the thing that he's got over Reece James right now is that he's proven it. He's proven it in multiple seasons. Reece James is a good young player. I think in fact he's a great young player, but he doesn't exactly have the minutes and the stature that Hakimi does. So if it means that Reece James gets less minutes, I'm cool with it. Again, I want the best 11 out on the field as possible. And for me, Hakimi is an upgrade on what we have. Because if Reece James gets injured, it's effectively a drop down to Aspi. If you can have Hakimi and Reece James battling it out, and obviously knowing Tuchel the way that he uses players, it won't always be Hakimi, but it won't always be Reece James. They both will get minutes. And considering the amount of competitions we'll be in, I don't see a problem with it. And I'd love him at Chelsea.
I've also heard some rumors. I've heard a lot of Chelsea fans talking about if the three at the back remains, it wouldn't be inconceivable to see Reece James play as the right-sided centre-back, because we know that when you play with three at the back, it isn't a traditional centre-back role. You spend a lot of time moving out into those wide areas. I mean, there could even be the ability to play both Hakimi and Reece James in teams, especially when you're up against lower. Yeah, I mean, I don't things like that. I think with Reece James, it's a case of, look, we know this is Chelsea's model. Chelsea Football Club have never just gone, right, we've got one good youngster, let's leave him to develop for 4 or 5 years. And it was interesting. I knew a rumor like this would come out, and I heard about 3 or 4 days ago about Inter Milan not making their first payment. And then when I was having a conversation with an old colleague of mine, he said, yeah, Chelsea are looking to try and broker this deal. Essentially what Chelsea are doing is they're speaking to the player first to generate an interest. The player has said, of course, I'd love to play in the Premier League. And now what's happening is they're talking to Real Madrid first and stating, if we would pick up the payments, would you be accepting of that? By all accounts, Real Madrid have said yes. It's now in Inter Milan's court to work out whether or not they can afford to pay the player, because it's not a great look that you're missing payments for these players and stuff like that. It's going to be an interesting development. It really is.
Again, I think it's just mental how he can't get into Real Madrid. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't
get it. At Real Madrid, they're in love with the old guard. Like, they've sold players like Theo Hernandez. We know how. Sabas is average. They sold Kovacic. They've had good young players, and they just They've just got rid of them all, and like Hakimi is definitely good enough to start comfortably.
Or they haven't pushed on. Look at Asensio. 3 or 4 years ago, it was like Asensio is going to be
That guy.
And I'm not saying he's a bad footballer, but you just don't. You know how you know, right? How you know that he isn't elevating himself. You don't hear his name. You don't hear the hipsters talking about him anymore. He's like he was like 3 or 4 years ago. He was like the Isaac, if you get what I mean. Everybody was saying we've got to go sign him. We've got to go sign him. We've got to go sign him, and nobody is anymore. We have a super chat here. Ram's with us as well. We're going to get Ram on the air in just a moment. From Christopher says, Terry, I'm not sure if I'm correct, but didn't Reece James play at CDM when he was on loan before? If this does happen, maybe that's his move. Is that true? I don't know.
I know he can play in midfield. That has always been a thing. He actually came on in midfield last season. I can't remember the exact game, but he did actually come in and play at midfield. Whether that's a long-lasting like solution to our DM problem, I mean, it waits to be seen. But I'm sure he has the ability to do it.
I hear you. Ram's with us now as well. We're going to open up the lines for general calls in a moment. But Ram, Hakimi to Chelsea. Give me your thoughts.
This is going to be a very good move for Chelsea. Hakimi is probably one of the most talented right backs in the world. He's not as technical as Trent, but what he has instead of Trent is he has a lot of pace, and his directness in going forward is now incredible. So it's going to be interesting how you're going to play him. I do believe that it will be a fight between Reece James and Hakimi, but I think Hakimi's quality, and especially in that Tuchel system, he would be very, very good for Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those signings where, you know, I always get what KJ says about the only reason he wouldn't like Haaland is because Haaland could stop Greenwood from developing. My view's always been pretty much the same. Listen, I'd take the best 3 young strikers in the world right now, and I'd throw him in the Hunger Games and say, fight to the death, boys. Like, I've got no issue with that. Survival of the fittest at the end of the day, because the thing is, there is no loyalty. For years as a football fan, I used to get really angry if a player tried to leave my club. I was like, oh, it's so disrespectful. But then you look at it from the other direction. When your club no longer wants you, then what? No one's like, I feel so sorry for that player. He trained hard every day. You know what I mean? But he's not wanted anymore. It's terrible. It's like, no. There's very rarely like a mass group of fans that are like, oh, it's terrible. I remember when Liverpool fans were telling us that Flanagan was going to be better than Gary Neville. By the time he left your club, none of you even I don't even think you got a tweet saying goodbye. It was just like, oh, we don't care about you anymore, brother. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Terry, why are the top 6 allowing Chelsea to buy all the young talent? Are they?
Really? Are they?
I mean,
all the young talent?
A bit of them, not all of them. There is still talent out there. Like, we're not just the only ones that can buy. Obviously Liverpool Liverpool don't spend money because they're the almighty we don't spend money club fairy tale story. So they're out of the picture. Exactly. I mean, United's board isn't exactly, everyone hates the United board, all the fans hate the United board, so they're not going to do anything. Spurs don't spend money because Levy's as tight as many things, but I'm not going to go into that. So Man City, probably Man City or Arsenal, but Hakimi's far too good for Arsenal. He's far too good for Arsenal.
I've got to say about Arsenal, right? I have to say this, and I know they're going to get upset. I know that they're going to get triggered by it, but we need to be really blunt here. Arsenal fans thinking they're going to get Hakimi, it's the same nonsense as them thinking that they're going to get Jack Grealish. If Inter have to sell, this is still an if, they have to sell, and no other Champions League or big team comes in to broker the deal, if Chelsea walk away, you've got a chance. If Man City, Liverpool, Man United don't try and sign Jack Grealish and you're the only club, there is a chance. But at the end of the day, if Chelsea want Hakimi and Arsenal want Hakimi, I would bet I'll bet £1,000 right now. Look in the camera, £1,000 to charity. If Chelsea legitimately submit a bid and Arsenal legitimately submit a bid, factual bid, not like something that the Metro has said, a proper bid, I'll give £1,000 to charity if he picks Arsenal over Chelsea. It's not happening in a month. A month of Sundays.
It's like a gal yesterday said.
Sorry, go on, Prime.
Go, bro.
Even forget Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool, maybe even Spurs. If Leicester wanted Hakimi, he's going to Leicester above Arsenal. He's going to Southampton above Arsenal. He's going to Villa above Arsenal. You're not an attractive club to go to. You're not an attractive club to go to.
Well,
sorry,
maybe not Villa, but Leicester. I can see that.
Southampton's a bit of a stretch, but Leicester definitely.
Yeah.
Why is Southampton? Why is Southampton a bit of a stretch?
Like,
No, I think it is.
They're inconsistent, man. Like they're not. At least
Arsenal are inconsistent.
Leicester have a platform to build on. Southampton have only just started, and I don't think Southampton's platform is the same as Arsenal's, but it's just sad because Arsenal's supposedly.
I would still rather go to Southampton.
That's you as a Chelsea fan saying that. That's
not
Hakimi as who's giving me the most money.
David, it's not me as a Chelsea fan because Arsenal are not my rivals.
No, but as a youngster, it makes sense because Southampton are known to build up youngsters. So he does have a point there. But
we could argue about this, but really, I think he'd choose Arsenal over Southampton. And Leicester. That's an argue. That's a conversation you can have. Definitely.
I would say, look, out of the traditional top six, he'd pick everybody before like Arsenal. Out of the traditional big six, I think he would. City, United, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea. No particular order. He'd do that. When it comes to the others below it, I do think he'd pick Arsenal in front of Wolves, Everton, Southampton. The Leicester one, I agree. The Leicester one is 50-50 in my opinion. I'm not too sure if he would, but I've been back to the original point. There is just no chance in a excuse me while I'm typing something, in a month of Sundays, in my very humble opinion, that Arsenal are getting this player.
Like,
if anybody else have any notes in for him?
It's like a gal say yesterday, like AZ Maitland-Niles didn't go to Leicester because they didn't want to give away a player to a rival. It was just like, no, that's not what's going on here. He's just not good enough. Like,
yeah, it's like Leicester are like, yeah, but we want you as cover at fullback. I don't want to be a Southampton. I don't want to be a fullback. I want to be a midfielder, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
West Brom, you go.
You know what I mean? I want to be 6'4", have a deep pounding voice, and not go bright red in the sun. But it ain't gonna happen, bro. Like I've got more chance of those things happening than Ainsley Maitland-Niles playing CM for a top ball.
Gone to Nuno Espirito Santo in the summer. He said he's not with Sam Allardyce in a relegation battle.
It's peak, isn't it? It is peak. I'm sorry, like Arsenal fans. I'm sorry, but do you know what? At least you got rid of him, Gooners. Like he ain't your problem for at least a few more months. Sam Allardyce.
He's not even going to touch the ball. He's just going to be seeing it go over his head.
That's that Sam Allardyce finessed him. Yeah, I want you to be my main ball-playing midfielder. I can't believe it. Rings up his mum, his daddy. I'm going to be the main ball-playing player at West Brom. Bro, they don't play ball. You know what I mean? It's just one of them ones, bro. He's been done. Have you ever seen the Only Fools and Horses episode where Del Boy convinces Rodney to take a job as an undertaker?
No, I've already ever seen one episode of it.
It's funny. Basically, his duties when he actually turns up is making the tea, sweeping up, and he has to like walk in front of the hearse as it goes down the street. But Del Boy sells it to him that he's going to be this computer programmer and run all the IT section. And when he explains it, he says, "You're going to do this with the IT." Eventually. He says he eventually at the end, right? And then he's a skivvy. And that's what Maitland-Niles has done. You'll be at West Brom, you're going to be the ball-playing, ball-winning, creative spark, the superstar, the crowning jewel of our midfield. Eventually. I mean, eventually. When I leave. when you get a better manager in to play football again, that's what happened. But listen, it's a deal for him. But yeah, are you, Prime, you didn't speak on Hakimi. Would you be happy with this regardless of the situation with Reece James?
Yeah, he's a highly talented fullback. I think he's one of, if not the best, right back or right wing back in the world. Does this halt James's development? Possibly, yes. However, again, my thing with these youngsters that our fans keep raving about, if they're good enough.
Brother, your microphone's rubbing against your clothes, bro.
Better? Sorry.
Perfect.
Yeah, sorry, but these youngsters, if they're good enough, they'll fight and they'll get into the manager's plans. Hakimi can play right back, wing back, right mid even. People keep talking about James possibly moving into midfield, which I get it. He did it at Wigan for half a season, but there's difference between doing it in Championship and the Prem. Also, there are some Chelsea fans who have told me that James is a bit bulky, for lack of a better word. So maybe fullback isn't maybe the best position in terms of
a bit plump is what you're saying. a little plump. We've got a comment here from Billy Boy who says, Terry, how many times have United finished above Arsenal in the last 7 years, and Arsenal supposed to be the last option? Listen, you're absolutely right. Factually, you're right. Arsenal have finished in front of Man United more times in the last 7 years. But I still think we'll get picked in front of you. Like that fact that you presented doesn't change my opinion on that, especially as right now we're a Champions League team and we're heading back into the Champions League 2 years running. You know, Hakimi or Jack Grealish is not going to sit there and go, listen, United can pay me more, give me a bigger platform, currently have a better squad, and are going to be in the Champions League. But I'm going to pick Arsenal because they have finished above them more times in the last 7 years. That's not going to go through the man's head.
Terry, the logic of Arsenal fans saying that players would go to them instead of Leicester is because they're a bigger brand. But surely United are the biggest brand in the world. So judging by that logic,
it makes no sense. We've got Kesh with us now. Kesh, we're talking Hakimi to Chelsea. Maybe Arsenal fans saying they're winning this race as well. Give me your thoughts, bro.
I'm not interested in them. I'll be honest. Like, everyone's just getting excited because he's a great player going forward. But we've seen in the Premier League, you will get caught out. Unless they're going to play the wing-back system and stick to that, then I don't see the point. You might as well stick with James. Honestly, like, he's not the greatest going back towards his own goal. And that is one of the reasons Madrid felt he was disposable.
David, thoughts?
I just think he, to say at Arsenal you wouldn't take him.
No, I won't take him because there's Max Aarons there, who's better balanced. No, Max Aarons is a better defender than Hakimi.
Yeah, but Hakimi's a better.
Cash, how much did you watch of Hakimi at Inter Milan? And
I've watched him quite a lot. I watched him quite a lot. Over 80 games.
I would agree. I would agree with Kesh about him not being the best defender. I will agree with that 100%.
Yeah, to be fair on Kesh, when he was at Dortmund, when he was given the license to go forward at that 3-back formation, he was one of the best right wing backs in the world. But that's because he didn't have a lot of emphasis on him running back. But when he did play in a 4-back, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
I mean, so let me. I want to ask this question directly in case I've misheard here. Before I do it, please smash the like button, people. So, Kesh, if I put in front of you right now Max Aarons or Hakimi, you're telling me you would pick
Max Aarons. I'll even take Reece James. That's how deep it is. I'll even take Reece James.
He is. I get that logic because if we're going to use today's wording, he is a system player. That's why if Chelsea get him, is the perfect fit because the way they play, the way Callum Hudson-Odoi is used as a right wing back, it suits them. That's why it will be an incredible transfer for Chelsea. But for other teams, it might not be the one.
We'll see. It's an interesting one. Everything I've seen about Hakimi, I thought was excellent. And yeah, I suppose you can level the same thing. We all know Trent Alexander-Arnold. I suppose my only issue with what you said there, Ram, is the system thing. I don't think it's system players. I think the system player tag is very much used to discredit people for being good. It's square pegs, round holes. If you need a marauding attacking fullback whose main attributes to the team is going to be his offensive work, then that person fits what you need. That's the round peg for the round hole. If you need someone that's more defensive, it is what it is. This is. Yeah. I don't understand why suddenly this system thing has become so prevalent. It's always existed in football since the dawn of time. It isn't. Football hipsters are trying to make it sound new, and they all contradict each other. Because
yeah, that's true.
If you have to be a good player, if it's all about the system, then Callum Wilson shouldn't have 10 Premier League goals this year. And if it's all about the system, then Liverpool didn't need to sign any new centre backs because your system would have carried you through regardless. It's a balance of the two. You need the round pegs for a round hole, but you need your players to be of quality. How many players, Ram, has your manager signed since you've been in charge? And equally, on that point, and this is fairly rhetorical, why did you get rid of Moreno and bring in Robertson? What was the point if the system is what works over the quality of a player?
Yeah, like your point is correct. Like you need quality players for your system, but it's from what I've seen of him in multiple systems, and I feel Arsenal fans should be a little bit cautious
in multiple systems. He's played like he's 22. I mean, how often you watched him play?
He's played in two different systems under Lucien Favre. He played in a 4-back and he played in a 3-back.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
In a 3-back, he looked incredible. He looked absolutely amazing. Him and Sancho, he was the reason why Sancho was so amazing.
Flourishing so much, yeah.
Because they complement each other incredibly well.
What you're telling me is when a team has balance, its players, its individuals perform better. Who knew? I'm not even being sarcastic to you. I'm just saying, like,
that's modern day football fans. They always use.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say that's modern day football. I was like, no, that's football.
No, that's modern day football fans. They use these kind of words. I said system players because football fans use that word all the time, and I don't know why they use it because it's
I hear you. I hear you now. I hear you. I do, but I don't think it'd be a bad signing. I'm just intrigued. Go on, Prime.
What he can or he has played left wing back. I mean, because I tweeted out this stream and stuff, and some people are replying to it, and they're saying that he could play left wing back. I think Chilwell's career as a starter at Chelsea is over. He was a Lampard signing. Chelsea will get rid of Alonso and Emerson. Chilwell is average.
wow.
Who said this?
I'm reading out a comment. It's on Twitter.
Oh,
I thought you were saying that. I was thinking,
I was like, what?
Look, Chilwell. Listen, I think he's done really well this season. The Alonso getting a game doesn't surprise me. The Tuchel is going to be clever. He's going to rotate quite a bit in the opening 4, 5, 6 games because he's on a hiding to like he can't. He's not on a hiding to nothing. That's the reverse of that. He's got a free reign because Chelsea are where they are. He needs to test out his players. He's going to give everybody an opportunity. I think Chelsea fans for the rest of this season have got to brace themselves for a couple of things. Reece James, in my opinion, will get less games on a percentage basis, like for second half season compared to when Lampard was there. Mount's going to play a lot of football still. He just is. He is just going to play a lot of football. Chilwell will be the main left back, left wing back, no issues. And that's going to pretty much be it. Like, that's what you're going to see. Jorginho's going to play a lot as well. These things are happening. Everyone's just got to relax in relation.
Can I say something? Because I feel the audience are mistaking what I've said. I'm not saying Hakimi is not an exceptional player. I was one of those that wanted him under Emery because he would have suited what Emery's ideas of playing with the 3 at the back and a marauding wing back. But we're not playing that anymore on Artel. So why would you get a player that doesn't suit your system? He will suit Chelsea's system because of the way Tuchel set up in the last 2 games. But when it comes to Arsenal, I don't think he's the right player for us. It's not that he hasn't got the quality; he just doesn't suit what we're trying to do. It's common sense.
And I hear that, mate, and I hear that completely. And I think that that's a fair comment. But you know what? How football fans hear things nowadays. You don't want Hakimi, you think he's crap. Oh, Terry, who do you think the best attacking midfielder in the league is? Oh, Bruno. What you saying? Jack Grealish is rubbish. Like, that's how they hear things. Like, their brains don't always work. To be blunt, like it is what it is. But people, listen, I've got to go. I like to sit here and chat longer, but I can't. Do me a favor and smash the like and share button. We're live after Wolverhampton Wanderers Arsenal, and then live again after Manchester United versus Southampton. Do me a big favor right now, though. Hit that like button. It's really important. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Check out the Manscaped website. Their new cologne's coming out soon as well. You can get 20% off that. And not only will you be as smooth as a baby's backside, you are going to smell like a Don as well. So get yourselves across there and use a discount code. Smelling good and feeling good is very important, especially when it comes to taking care of your Kiwis. That's all I'm going to say. Take care of your Kiwis. Until next time, people, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.